walking high where the wild winds play. Me and my dog chasing the day. Paws on the dirt and boots on the stone. Out in the world where we both feel home. Oh, my hiking dog, you're my trailside guide. With your wagging tail and your endless stride. Through the forest green to the mountains face. You make the wild feel like the safest place. You sniff the air while I map the trail. Together we're strong, no way we'll fail. The world out here feels big and free, but it's just you and me under this canopy. Oh, my hiking dog, you're my trailside guide. With your wagging tail and your endless stride. Through the forest green to the mountains face. You make the wild.
Today, Cab and I are at our local park. This is Siems Park in Kossuth County, Iowa. This used to be an old gravel pit site that was, I'm assuming it was donated to the county at some point, and they've turned it into a day park campground. And also there's a disc golf course on that, which is usually the route that Cab and I take. Hey, let's go this way. We'll go see the train tracks. A small park, but we can get about 1.5 miles, somewhere between 1.5 miles and 2 miles out of it this way. And it's a nice little place. Nice place. Doesn't get a lot of traffic, especially this time of year. They do get ice fishermen on the 2 pits. I don't know if you heard that, but we just heard a pheasant. Gawking at us. It's a nice park. I like it. And it connects to a railroad track right up here. That's what we're seeing up here. Cabby found a good scent. Right, but this is Siems Park, Kossuth County, Iowa. If a person really wanted, they could walk those tracks right into the town of Whittemore, in Whittemore, Iowa. Is that legal? Probably not. If we were hobos, then it would be. Straight up hobos. We're kind of hobos. Not really. It is the end of January, so I've completed my challenge to myself of going 1 month on the hardcore carnivore diet. We've had really, really good results. I do feel stronger, definitely in the leg area. Clothes size hasn't changed a lot. Maybe I was wearing my pants too tight. That could be. But we lost a total of 25.4 pounds in 31 days. That's pretty good. And I want to add into that, I never really felt like starved, super hungry. There were a couple days, like after getting off work or something. But I was hungry, but nothing that was super like starving, like I've got to eat now. Cravings, that's another story. I would have to say that cravings never really stopped. They've lessened, and when I say cravings, cravings for carbs and sugars. I still feel the craving for a diet pop, like it's just nuts. Like, how can that be? It's been a month, but it's still there. But that just shows you that how addictive like that processed food and processed drinks are. But those cravings, like I said, they're still there. I feel like this is going to be something that's with me the rest of my life, or at least a really long time, and I'll have to resist those cravings, because they're definitely not good for me. The sugars and the really highly processed carbs. This probably be a good point to say I am not bad mouthing other diets, and I don't mean diets as in, hey, this is how I'm losing weight. I mean diets as in, this is how I eat. The Mediterranean diet is supposed to be really healthy for you, but other than fish, doesn't really have, to my understanding, red meat or other like land meats, types of animal meat. I just find that with the carnivore diet, I'm going to get more nutrition without supplements and do what I'm trying to do, which is make my body healthy again. And the carnivore diet is definitely doing it. But the carbs is something, and I'm going to say it again, the highly processed carbs. Not bashing whole fruits and vegetables, though for me, fruits are probably out. There's still a lot of sugar, even though an orange is better than orange juice. But whole foods in general are better for you than really highly processed foods. And in a little bit, I'll share some of what I've seen, what's impacted my results, and let's get a little bit more of a conversation about, Gabby just got me going all over the place, about ketosis and glucose and the monitoring I've been doing for the last few weeks here. So since I've been monitoring my glucose and ketone levels, I've definitely seen a correlation between the glucose, the ketones, and weight loss. And what I found, because I've had a couple days that my glucose was much higher than it was on all the other days, just like 2 days. And one I had a reading of 106, and another day I had another one at 109. And prior to that, I was getting glucose readings. Hold up, bud. You're tied up. Hold. Hold up. Okay. Anyway, I was getting readings around the 90, higher 80s, but really nothing above 92. But my diet hadn't changed at all. Like I wasn't eating anything different than I was the rest of the month, where I had better readings. The same thing with the ketones. I had less ketone production during those same days where my glucose was at a higher level. I was still in ketosis, but I was closer to, around a 0.5. And I did see days where I was around a 0.5, but my glucose was still below 100. But weight loss wise, when those two factors were combined, I had less weight loss. And it's not like every day I had weight loss. I would go up and down throughout the week. But those two, when ketone production was low and glucose was high, then I had less weight loss. And I'm assuming that's because my body was saying produce insulin at that time. And that's something we don't really want. And I'll explain why he's crazy today, because we'll talk about that in a minute. But that's just something I've noticed and something to keep an eye on. But the reason I think those numbers had, in my opinion, I can't say what the medical opinion is on it, this is just mine. There's two factors that I don't spend a lot of time talking or focusing on that I think affect that. And one of them is the water consumption. The other one, which I'm pretty positive really affects it, is the quality and amount of sleep that I'm getting. I've noticed on days when I just had terrible sleep, whether that's because Cab here decides he wants to go outside at midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes multiple times a night. He wakes me up, of course, to let him out, and that disrupts my sleep, that quality sleep, and so my numbers aren't as good. And water-wise, that I haven't tracked how much water I'm drinking daily. I've done that before. It's not hard, but I haven't been doing that this past month, and I think that's part of it too. And the reason I say that is because I've woken up in the morning and done my daily weigh-in, and I'm at a certain weight. And then if it was crappy outside, meaning like super cold or a blizzard, and we didn't go out right away and we just kind of sat around, but I was doing things and I drank water while I was doing that, like 60 ounces of water in a couple hours, you would think that my weight would go up. But I weighed myself. I didn't eat anything in those few hours. I just drank water, and my weight dropped. And to me, that's a little crazy. Just crazy. So I think if I'm not getting enough water, I'm not washing out the junk in my body. We went past the trailhead here. Let's go over here, buddy. And that kind of retains it, which is And that could be it's retaining water, but just retaining the junk in my body. Getting enough water, not too much, but enough, will flush out my system, get rid of the junk, and then I'm losing weight. Again, these are all my theories. I'm not backing this with any scientific evidence, just how I feel. So why is Cab pulling so much today? One, he's always been pretty much a puller, which we're working on. He does better on our town walks. But today he's definitely pulling a lot more than normal. The reason for that is that it's been 2 weeks since we've been on a decent walk. Let's go this way, buddy. This way. Come on. I know that smells good, but I guess you win. But yeah, 2 weeks. It's been so cold here. We had blizzards, but really the extreme cold that we can't get out and do as long of walks, as many even. You know, when it's below zero. But I think he can take the temp, but it's kind of hard on his toes to be out in that kind of weather for a very long period. But he's pretty. He needed this. He needed this walk. Today it's 30 degrees. Had a fresh snow last night, and there's not much snow where we're at. Here there's just a few inches. But this will definitely satisfy some of his need. Every time we walk by this branch pile, he comes over and he sniffs around. Now I don't see any. There's a few tracks leading up to this, but I'm betting there's a fox den down in here. Is there any tracks leading out? No fresh ones. But he always stops and investigates this. He's definitely interested. Should I look down in there? Let's take a look. You see anything? I can't right now. It's pretty tight. I'll have to check that later. Oop. Now I got my lens all wet. Now the lens is all wet. Ah, get out of there. Come on. And the update on Cab's new diet, he is completely off of kibble now. His primary source of food is, he found something interesting here. There, he's cleaning his toes, yep. His primary source of food is chicken, and that's going to be drumstick meat, thigh, like leg quarters. I get a lot of that. He eats a cup of, I pressure cook it with some salt. He eats a cup of that in the morning and a cup in the evening. But he is completely off the kibble. He does eat some of my meal. Like if I got some scraps, he always gets to lick the plate, licks the pan. Though I may stop that because his poos haven't really solidified yet. They're pretty loose, and they're a mess to clean up. In the snow, it's not bad, but you know, once it gets nice again, I'd rather have him have some more solid poos than what he's currently having. Why? One, they're harder to clean up. Two, when we're doing our daily walks, which are mostly in town, when he's got a poo, and I gotta clean it. Oh, got deep there, didn't it? When he's got a poo, and if he does it on somebody's yard, it's a lot easier to clean up the solid stuff. Doesn't leave much of a mark. This way. Doesn't leave much of a mark. The loose stuff, yeah, there's going to be some residue there, and I don't want to do that with my neighbors. We got to be good neighbors, Cabby, right? Got to be good neighbors. So that means you got to stop barking at everybody that walks by. Yeah. You got to do some more training with that. You can go up there. Look at you, you handsome devil. You're just a kid, just a little kid. Little boy. Likes to play in the toys. Yeah. Up, up. Good boy. Okay. Let's go over into the shelter. So yeah, if you have some advice on what I can do to harden up his poos a little bit, what a weird thing to say, without feeding him the processed food, I would appreciate it. Definitely comment below. I would appreciate it. Because they're messy. I don't like cleaning them up. Not that I like cleaning up the other stuff either, but the loose ones, oof. Oofed, right? Right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So this ends the carnivore challenge. We're done with the challenge for January. I am going to continue with the carnivore diet, and at least for another month. We'll see what our results are. I'm not going to report back every week on those. The results should be, I should have a slower rate of weight loss now after a month, but maybe at the end of the month I'll say where I'm at with that. But I'm going to continue it. Cabby's going to continue it, right? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. But we want to get back to doing more hiking. Looks like we got some pretty decent weather coming up for the next few weeks. Cold stuff is done, so they say. But yeah, I'm hoping we're getting some warmer weather so we can get out. At least for our dailies, mornings and evening walks. He needs it, I need it. But overall, I've been pretty happy with the loss that I've had. Again, over 25 pounds in 31 days. That's pretty good. Careful. Let me fix this. Let me fix that so you don't trip. There you go. But thanks for watching, and we will see you next week. Like, subscribe, share. Get as many viewers as we can get to watch so they can learn about everything. What you doing? You look crazy. Like, subscribe, and share. Okay.